When we think of Latin America, we picture beaches, palm trees, and the bright skyline of oceanfront cities, or maybe rice and beans cooking on every stove. But just a few hours beyond those skyscrapers, everything changes. In the mountains of western Panama, the roads fade into jungle trails. The air grows thick and quiet. And there, hidden in the green hills, are thousands of families living in extreme poverty. Many of them are part of the Nagabe Bugale people, beautiful, hardworking communities who have been left behind by progress. Children walk for hours through the rain and mud to reach a tiny school, if they can go at all. I met parents who are desperate to give their kids a better life, but who never had that chance themselves. And yet, even in these forgotten corners of the world, something beautiful is happening. I'd love for you to come with me to the mountains of Panama and see for yourself how God is using farm stew to change lives forever. Together with our amazing local farm stew trainers and coordinator, we hiked for hours through mud and steep terrain to reach remote villages, places where the gospel and health services have barely arrived, but where my companions have been going week after week to train, equip, and coach families. There I found people filled with joy, eager to learn, ready to share. Every week, not only our trainers, but also men and women from the community walk for miles, sometimes 2 or 3 hours each way to attend farm stew classes. They listen carefully, take notes, and then carry what they learn back home to their families and their neighbors. Some even come from other villages far beyond the next ridge to learn what they can and share what they learn. It's a movement of change spreading like wildfire through the mountains. And it all started with your support of that first training. But the need is still so great. There are so many more villages to reach. Most Nugabe Bule mothers cook over open fires, breathing in thick smoke every day. Most serve the same foods: cassava, white rice, and bananas. Simple starches that fill the stomach but starve the body. I was surprised that beans, the protein we imagine as the staple in Latin America, was often completely missing. As a nutritionist, it broke my heart because I know what that means: stunted growth, fatigue, and sickness. There was one man I'll never forget, a farm stew community volunteer named Alfredo. When we arrived at his home, it was already dark, but he was so excited. He said, "You have to see my garden." So we followed him by flashlight down a narrow hill until the light fell on rows of beautiful crops: green, squash, and peanuts he had just planted using the farm stew's simple rainbow garden method. He had learned from our trainers that peanuts grown in his soil could give his children the protein and healthy fats in their diet that had been missing. Everywhere we went, we saw families eating the same meal: cassava, white rice, and banana. No beans, no nuts, no protein, just starch. That's the kind of diet that leaves children weak and stunted. But this father, Alfredo, had discovered a way to change that, to feed his family better, to heal their bodies, and to build a small business selling what he grew. Not only that, he knew that he was also nourishing his soil because the nitrogen-fixing peanuts would provide a natural fertilizer for the next crop he would plant there. And he knew it. That's the power of knowledge, and that's the power of farm stew. Another family showed us their new cook stove. Before farm stew, they cooked over a 3-stone fire, breathing in smoke every day, damaging their lungs, their eyes, and their health. But now, with the simple, clean cook stoves, the air is cleaner, their eyes don't burn, and their children can breathe freely. It's hard to explain how big that change feels until you see it. And then there was Rosa's village. Rosa is one of the Farm Stew local volunteers in a community called Guacamayo, a woman whose courage and leadership have helped inspire her entire community. Before we arrived, the women wanted to make a banner to welcome us. They didn't have paper, so they used an old sheet. And when it came to time to sign it, none of them could write their names. So one by one, they had dipped their hands in paint and pressed their handprint onto that sheet, their own colorful signatures of hope. It was their way of saying, we did it. We learned something. We are part of something that matters. Then, one by one, they proudly brought out their Farm Stew certificates, laminated to protect it from the rain. Rosa told us through tears, this is the first certificate most of us have ever received in our lives. Can you imagine? A simple piece of paper representing the first time anyone had told them, you've done something amazing. You've changed your life. For many, it was the first recognition they had ever known. These women aren't just learning for themselves. Their certified Farm Stew home certificate makes them also teachers, leaders, and missionaries of health, hope, and the good news of the gospel. They're carrying Farm Stew into other villages. The message is spreading across the mountains from one family to the next, from one village to another. And all of this happened because you believed. You believed in the dream of abundant life for everyone. And because you gave, lives are changing. This family breathing clean air for the first time. This family growing food that will finally nourish their children and enrich their soil. And this one, and this one. All of these families are being transformed because of your gifts. You brought Farm Stew to Panama for the very first time. And today, we get to see together the fruit of that faith. Families walking in health, villages filled with hope, hearts awakening to God's goodness. It was such a joy and a privilege to stand there and witness what your generosity has made possible. Lives being changed in ways we could never have imagined. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. As joyful as this transformation has been to witness, my heart still aches because there are so many more families waiting, still cooking over open fires, still feeding their little ones empty starches, and still yearning for something different. But you, through your generous support, have changed that for some families. Now, I want to ask you to continue giving. For just $1.25 a day, $37 a month, you can change a family's life forever. What else can you buy for $1.25? And maybe you can do more, sponsor more families. You can help train mothers like Rosa, fathers like Alfredo, and children who dream of something more, a full life, both now and for eternity. The seeds of change are already planted. You've helped to plant them. Now it's time to help them grow. If any of this has touched your heart, I have one question for you. Will you continue to be an active member of the Farm Stew family and donate today? Remember, $37 a month helps train one new family. $444 sponsors an entire family for the year. Join the movement today. farmstew.org/give.